Well, this was a good chapter, but a little perplexing. I was kind of scratching my head there towards the end and really just hoping that we figure out what the hell the problem is now.
One Piece, chapter 290, The Light of Shandora.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome flashback-heavy Skypean tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw, of course, Noland and Kalgara, or Kalgara, actually helping Noland, it looked like, at the end, as Noland was just basically screaming at the top of his lungs, "Dude, I can save your village! Just let me help!" And in the last few pages, saw panels of the villagers looking like they were kind of upright and on their feet again, and certainly it looked like a cure had been administered to them, and Noland, who had been obviously injured and everything else, was sort of just laying there in bed looking like he was being taken care of. So that's where the chapter left off. That's kind of right where we pick up over here. It's a few days later, I think 8 or 10 days later, and basically we see Kalgara and Noland just getting along and kind of being the best of friends. And the neat thing about this whole situation is it goes back to one of the PSAs that I did about, like, can we agree to disagree? You can disagree about things fundamentally. You can disagree about colors or shapes or characters or whatever, but you can still get along and be friends at the end of the day. When I used to collect comic books, I had a really good friend that was into things, and he was really into it more for the writing aspect of it, right? Which I learned to develop and appreciate. I developed an appreciation for through him. After a number of years, but initially, because I'm more of an artist and I like to draw, I liked the art. I liked the visual presentation of many of these different comics that we collected. So fundamentally, our thought processes were completely different. He would go and read something that was just a great story, but just looked like garbage because the artist was not very good, or they just didn't have a very good one there. It wasn't a particular style that I cared for. And then I would read stuff that looked beautiful, but really had, no substance at all. So it didn't matter, though, because we were friends and we had similarities and things that we did like, and we were able to fundamentally still be able to get along, even though some of our thought processes were just completely opposite, right? So that's kind of what I really try to preach, and I may have an opinion about something. I'm not saying you have to have that opinion. As a matter of fact, I don't want you to have that opinion. I want you to have your opinion. And but really, and I know I'm dwelling on this a little bit long here and getting a little long-winded, but it really does. These are the type of lessons that you can go and you can garner from something like One Piece. It really is. It shows that these two characters that just had such different belief systems, now just a few days later, are like the best of friends, and even the villagers and of course the Noland's men, crew are all like, they're kind of like, hey, geez, why are these guys getting along so good? And so, like I said, it was really neat to see that. We see that everybody has obviously, been cured, and then what's really kind of cool is Kalgara goes, and now Noland, he's been nursed back to health by Kalgara. I don't know if he fed him, from a bottle or whatever, from his own teat, but the point is that he said that he nursed him back to health. And Kalgara goes and takes him, and says, "Come follow me," and he takes him and his men, and he actually takes them to Shandora. And it's really cool because the double page spread of it is very similar in scope to what we saw when Robin discovered it about 20 chapters back. But of course, that's 400 years in the future, and it's all kind of ruined, and the gold's been stripped out and everything else. This is Shandora, a picture of it in all of its glory. And it's cool looking, man. You see that the bell is up there, and it's on these, it's got like almost like anchor stilts or whatever that hold it up or what have you. And it's just huge. The bell's got to be, 40, 50 feet big, just solid gold. And there's gold everywhere. Everything's shining, looking beautiful. And Kalgara goes and he says, "Hey, you can take whatever you want, just don't touch the bell," And number one, Nolan's excited about the bell because he just loves the sound of it and just thinks that it's just this great ethereal sound almost. And he explains that that's what, nobody else heard of it, that's what drew him to this island, and ultimately saved his crew because they were starving and had been out, out to sea for 2 years. So it was really kind of cool to see that. And then we go and Kalgara explains that, and he's like, but when he says about taking the gold, Nolan's like, "Well, yeah, but I thought you guys were, that's what you're protectors of this city." And he says, "Yeah, we're protectors of this city, but not its treasure." And I thought that was kind of cool too, because it's like, listen, we're not trying to go and worry about chasing you off about this. You helped save us, and nobody's dying of the tree plague anymore, so go ahead and take all the gold you can carry. That's fine, man. I don't give a shit. And And then he explains that what they're really protecting is the Ponegliff. And the Ponegliff, we still don't know what it says or what it's really about. We just know that obviously it's something that the city was destroyed for, wound up being destroyed in defense of, and that they're going to go and carry on the work and the will of their ancestors. So that's kind of what we get from that whole situation there with that. So we went through a series of panels. We see that it's been days, it's been weeks, it's been months later, or a month later. And what winds up happening is Noland goes and being a botanist, he gives them a bunch of seeds and shoots and things like that for different things, crops that they can plant and grow. And we see him handing pumpkins. So now we kind of know that was like a little bit of a teaser to the pumpkins, that we see that Gonfall like the pumpkins from the pumpkin juice, which I thought was kind of cool. But really, he's trying to help these people out and kind of almost trade with them, like, hey, listen, I'll help you grow some new things and blah blah blah. And then him and his crew have been going off, I guess, methodically through the woods, looking for the forest, looking for various plants and trees and things like that can help as far as just his furthering his exploration and finding these new different types of plants and herbs and remedies that can be used for various things. So doing what a botanist does. But then all of a sudden, it's been like a month later, we go and we see like a flash to some people kind of huddling around in the village, and they're like, shh, they're coming. Oh yeah, you know what? Don't say anything. They're going to be leaving in a few days. Don't even tell them about what we discovered last night. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I thought you guys were all buddies. Oh, Kalgara's so mad he doesn't even want to see him. Do they think they can just trample? And then basically they're talking about how, even though they helped cure us and everything else, cure our people, just our fundamental differences are going to keep us apart because, they believe in, they believe they can just kill gods and trample. And I'm like, back to that sacred ground God shit, And don't get me wrong, it's not that I don't believe anything or I do believe in anything too heavily, and I'm not going to get into that in this video anyway. The point being is that, it's like, what the hell? Okay, these guys, they helped cure your people. You guys were buddies for a month. Now all of a sudden everybody's hush-hush. They don't want to talk to them. And they're being real, uncomfortable with everybody and just treating them like garbage. So we go and we get, right towards the end of the chapter, we get Noland, and he's just kind of laying there, chilling out on the beach or whatever. One of his guys comes up to him and is like, hey, listen. And this is after, now mind you, when they came into the village, even Sato or whatever was like, hey, are you guys leaving soon? So everybody was just being real kind of dickish and standoffish in general, and we don't really know why at this point. So then it goes, and as the chapter wraps up, Nolan's just he's perplexed and he's kind of depressed about the whole situation, but he's just sort of chilling, laying on the beach, and one of his guys is like, okay, well, listen, people are treating us like crap, and it's getting uncomfortable anyway, and he's like, well, we got 2 more days to finish going over the forest, and then, so we'll set sail in 3 days. And the one guy's like, it's really uncomfortable. They seem like they want to kill us. They're on edge anyway. Why don't we just leave, And Nolan's like, no, we have to finish our work. And that's how the chapter ends off, and I was a little bit perplexed, and I'm going to dive right into the next one over here and hopefully be able to figure out what and why, this is all happening. But I guess my chapter question for you is really, I guess, what are your thoughts on what I was talking about? And I've gone to a similar question in the last several chapters with this, but I believe it's something that can be talked about in many different ways and in different lights too. But just what I explained about how even though they had these fundamental difference of opinion and difference of thought process and really difference of tradition and the way they handled things, I thought, and I want to know what your thoughts are on this, that it was really cool and amazing. What I took from this chapter was that we can be different, we can look different, we can act different, we can talk different, we can believe different, but we can still be friends. At the end of the day, we can still be friends. We can still come together and we can still see eye to eye on things, even though we don't agree on everything together, and I think it's a cool thing. I've been married for a number of years, and I'll tell you, if there wasn't some give and take and some yeah, even though I don't really particularly agree with that, I still love you, and it's one of those things where it's like, I may not agree with you, but I can see your opinion. I can see why your opinion's still valid and why you think it is, So anyways, maybe I'm getting too long-winded in it. Probably just leave your answer to the question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one.
So light 'em up, light 'em up, light 'em up, Aces on fire! Oh my goodness. If you don't want to hear some shit like that again, follow me on the Twitter and the Facebook, please. Okay, that's it.